This is Will Bashford with Group Blake, Corey, and Ebba, and I'm here with Chris Cockrell, the Montgomery County Clerk. Okay, Chris, the first question I have to ask you today is, what made you want to be a leader?
As far as running for office as that kind of leader, it's just about giving back to the community. For me, it was about serving Montgomery County in a way that was a little bit better than what, in a bigger scale. Not better, but a bigger scale than what I was. I was in the private sector, but I thought, what a better way to reach our county as a whole.
Okay, the second question I have to ask you is, how would you describe yourself as a leader, and what are some of the things that you do as a leader?
As a leader, my leadership style is more of making sure that the people that I have underneath me have and are equipped with the things that they need to do their job to the best of their ability. That's kind of the leadership style. And the other question was,
What are some of the things that you do as a leader?
as a leader, just as far as my office goes, we make sure that that the people that work for me are doing their thing, but the other thing is that we serve our community in a way that they like.
That benefits the
that
community.
benefits them. Yeah.
Okay. The third question I have to ask you today is, what do you believe it means to be an ethical leader?
Well, for me, ethical and moral go hand in hand, and I'm a believer in Christ, and I don't hide that from anybody. Not that I push that on anybody that I'm around, but for me, the Bible talks about working as unto Christ, and that's the way I lead. I want to be able to say that I did what I did unto God, because I feel like there's a higher power that I answer to. So that's me.
That plays a major role in your work.
Major role.
Okay, and the next question I have is, do you believe that ethical leadership is important?
I think it's critical. I'm sorry, that's my phone. I think it's critical.
Why is that?
Well, everybody wants to talk about change, and being in the political realm, which I am. I feel like if we don't have good, godly people stand up and do what's right, even if they're not really necessarily believing the way that I believe, but there still has to be some kind of ethical underground or foundation that we adhere to. Otherwise, laws don't mean anything.
Okay, appreciate that. The next question I have is, what are some of the most important events in your life that you feel prepared you to be a leader?
Athletics would be one. Christian background, family for me was another. Also, just kind of once you become out in the world and kind of have to manage your own stuff, like your own apartment and your own housing, and that kind of really puts
the real world.
It puts it down to it. I mean, it puts the rubber on the road.
Definitely. Okay, the next question I have is, what experiences or role models have shaped you as an ethical leader?
I have three people that I consider mentors to me. One was my dad. He was a man of faith. He was an integrity, and he just kind of put it out there that when you do the right thing, regardless of what anybody else is doing, you do it regardless, and always tell the truth. The other person was a coach of mine, was Phil Risen, and he was one that just really encouraged me to always do your best in anything you do.
Coaches and parents,
pursue
they're the best role
excellence.
models, aren't
That's
they?
true. Yeah.
Okay, the next question I have are, what are some challenges that you have faced that have helped you become a successful leader?
Challenges that I faced,
That you have faced that you feel helped you become a successful leader. Sorry, I stumbled earlier.
that's all right. Some of the challenges. Well, one of the challenges was coming in, and elected to this office. It was a contested office, and some of the staff were for my opponent, and some were for me. So, finding that as a challenge to bring unity into the office.
Once you got in the office,
that was one and it was one I was actually looking forward to, because I wanted to see the dynamics of how it would play out, and it's done extremely well. I mean, I think they've all bought into the program, and I think are genuinely happy that
I think they've all come together.
They
and done a
definitely
great job.
have. Yeah, they've done a really good job, and I that's more them than me.
Yeah, the unity is definitely here in the office.
Yep.
Okay, the next question I have, Chris, is what are some of the challenges you face as an ethical leader on a daily basis? How do you handle these challenges?
In our office, you know, that's interesting because our office doesn't really have a lot of gray area, so it's more black and white because anything that we do is backed by the KRS, the laws of Kentucky. So there's really not a lot of ethical things. Now there's areas to where we can help people and kind of go above and beyond, and that's to me another thing of ethics is going above and beyond and serving your community a little bit better than what the law
Standard.
requires. You can do what the law requires and still turn somebody away, and they can be in a no better situation than what they were when they walked in the door.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can go above and beyond and try to help somebody.
Okay, I like that. The next question I have is, what do you think one of the best ways to instill ethical values in your employees is?
Lead from the front. Always lead by example. If there comes a situation to where there is a determining factor of the way I handle something, if I don't do it in a way that's ethical, then it just destroys my reputation and what we've built. So I feel like, and that's just not only in this office, but even if you're on the street, who you run around with a lot of times, your crowd that you're with, as far as if you profess to be a good godly person, but you're getting out in the world and getting caught up in a bunch of parties and this and that and the other, then
Hypocritical.
It's very hypocritical, and people don't respect that. You can build your life building a reputation and spend years building it and lose it within a matter of 5 minutes. That's just like that. So that's what
You got to be careful.
You got to really be careful.
Okay. The next question I have is, what advice about leadership would you give to those of us about to graduate and in many instances start our first full-time job?
It goes back kind of to the first question. You got to realize that there's a higher power, and for me, if you work for that person and you know that they're watching at all times, you don't just work to get a paycheck. You don't just work or lead to impress your friends or impress a person that you will be let down by. But if you work as if unto the Lord and put forth the effort and the excellence towards Him, He'll never let you down. That's just me.
Definitely. And the last question I have for you today, Chris, is what are some things that you would recommend that we do now to develop ourselves as leaders?
Get a mentor. I mean, for me, I had some good people around me, but find somebody and emulate them. That would be my suggestion, is just to kind of put it out there where you see somebody in leadership and follow them and watch their skills. Always do it with compassion and love. Love conquers all. So, if you lead and they see that you're actually, leading for their benefit, whoever it is, whether it's your classmates or a team, your group and your small group or whatever you're at, even on a battlefield, if you can't show people that you genuinely care about them, that you love about them, and that you love them, they won't follow. And you can't lead people that won't follow.
You got to portray that leadership. Chris, okay, that pretty much wraps it up. Thank you very much.
Absolutely, Will.
We appreciate your remarks. We'll take them to heart. Thank you.
Good deal.